We managed to get one of the last batches of Timberweatherboard.
Well, especially now the delays in building, right? We were umming and ahhing about different claddings at the start, and we locked that in reasonably early. Had we been any later,
we might not have cladding.
We wouldn't have cladding right now. We'd be waiting longer. So
I got asked to confirm all of my houses for next year and order the weatherboard now because the wait on certain products was literally out to 42 weeks. It's always juicy with Geoff. I think you got a snapshot of your linear oblique there.
Yep.
We've gone for a skinny wide pattern. So we passed pre-clad inspection this week. I reckon in the next 2 weeks the majority of that will be up.
Nice.
Have you felt an overwhelm of decisions?
No, it's peaks and troughs. There's a few points where you've got to figure everything out in the next couple of days.
I suppose what is crazy is now a 15-week delay on weatherboards on a relatively standard product that up until half a year ago we could order just whenever we needed. You have to spend money on septic and stormwater tanks and more drainage, and even the site prep. All of those things chewed up a lot more money. We managed to get one of the last batches of Timberweatherboard from Health-Based Building down in Christchurch. I've been holding that in my yard for Geoff for about 6 weeks now. So cool to get it to site and see it going up on the walls.
Is it the same pine product you use on your house?
Very similar product to what I used on the section nobody wanted. But Geoff's put his own personal spin on it. It's a pretty cool product actually, comes out of the factory pre-coated on all four sides, looks amazing and really good option compared to other traditional products such as Cedar, which you can't get anymore. So Geoff, we've got your Timberweatherboard on that we ordered like about 12 weeks ago.
Well done.
And sat in the yard for a while. Love the look of it, eh?
Yeah, it's awesome. Especially the way the nails sit in it. I don't know, are they copper or?
They are bronze rose heads. So we should do a video all about nails.
There we go.
All the types of nails. Let's get nailed. Let's get nailed with
timber delays.
Moving on.
The whole series, eh?
What type of nail do you want?
But they're nice nails anyway.
I think you got a snapshot of your linear oblique there.
Yep.
We've gone for a skinny wide pattern. Pre-ordered that material as well.
Well done.
And you've got the rest of the pile there ready to go up. So we passed pre-clad inspection this week. I reckon in the next 2 weeks the majority of that will be up.
Nice.
I'm Josh, a builder here in New Zealand, and this is Geoff, my very first subscriber.
How are you?
Good, thanks. Guess what? I'm building Geoff a home.
You subscribe, you get a free house.
We were talking about your 3 windows.
Yep.
That was part of what...
So you would have done this part up the middle real easy, but the other bits would have been...
And like each window would have, see how you have that. So whether you have that big window, you'd have one of these either side.
Yep. And this is the linear oblique, right?
We're going to make a playlist specifically just for this build so you can follow Geoff's dream home build start to finish. So from concepts all the way through to handover and having a beer in the spa down the bottom with Geoff, house finished. Have you felt an overwhelm of decisions?
No, it's peaks and troughs. There's a few points where you've got to figure everything out in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And you're just reading and researching and going down rabbit holes of different kind of products, and then all of a sudden there's nothing for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's all done, and then something else comes up. There was a big peak towards the start. We're trying to nail everything for the specs.
I think people underestimate like all of this can't happen until that spec stuff happens. It's hard, it's kind of hard to describe that to clients as well. I think it was the point where we described to you that step 1 is we look at the bulk structure, the floor plan, the walls, the roof. Step 2 is we start to fill in some of those details. Step 3 we start to think about how it's going to look and feel. That kind of helped you resolve that.
Yeah, it did.
So the trick is kind of working out those critical design choices early on. Like even we talked about flooring, because one of the questions you and I talked about a lot is your outdoor living going to be a deck or a patio? And if it's going to be a deck, do you want it to go flooring, inside, door, deck, all flush? And I think we went backwards and forwards a few times. And then it was when I explained, like, well, if you do want that, we need to know that now. Essentially, this part, we don't actually need any input from you. We need to pick your brain right at the start for, like, what colour wood do you want? Like, why do you want the shape of the house? Where's your fridge? How are you going to live? All of those things.
Well, especially now with the delays in building, right? We were umming and ahhing about different claddings at the start, and we locked that in reasonably early. Had we been any later, or
we might not have cladding.
We wouldn't have cladding right now. We'd be waiting longer. So.
See this weatherboard here? We ordered that 15 weeks ago. And see this roofing materials here? We ordered that 10 weeks ago. But do you know the crazy thing is? We only put that concrete slab down 5 weeks ago. How crazy is that? That is a sign of how far forward you need to do the planning to build a home right now. I suppose what's caught me off guard is how quickly these delays have come into play. You know, we made a video a while ago saying the need for forethought, but back then it was kind of like an 8 to 12 week delay. I suppose what is crazy is now a 15-week delay on weatherboards on a relatively standard product that up until half a year ago we could order just whenever we needed. From what I'm hearing, it's going to take a long time to catch up. These stacks of pre-ordered timber that are all spoken for. Yeah, like that whole stack of timber there is already pre-sold.
Jeez.
Like pretty much everything behind us is already pre-sold. I can't complain because some of our clients' materials are in that pile there.
Has seeing all this like made you even more conscious of like pre-ordering?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm already going to go back. Like part of my job at the office today is to kind of get ahead of it even more. It was about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, that I got asked to confirm all of my houses for next year and order the weatherboard now because the wait on certain products was literally out to 42 weeks. 42 weeks, that is insane. And then we can't get Cedar. And it's not just that there's no Cedar weatherboards, there's no logs coming into the country to cut the Cedar weatherboard. We've changed from timber fascia to metal fascia, which is awesome. The owner of this one was real proactive about working with us to change as many things as he could to keep it moving as we struggle with the ongoing material delays.
Just materials.
So halfway through the project, and how does it feel for your original vision to start coming together?
Mint, actually, and like we talked about already, it was a hard thing to see at the start how everything was going to fit together, and that took a lot of time. Just piecing how does the inside work with the outside, and you know, little things like where does the sun go, and how you're going to use the house in winter versus summer and whatnot. But not everything was solved at the start, but once the walls start going up, you can see exactly the way that the house is facing. Okay, cool, so we can start putting in the outdoor stuff now.
So I remember when I was building, I sometimes felt like the fear of making the wrong decision or the worst decision, or like if I don't upgrade this thing now and the walls get closed in, will I regret it for the rest of eternity?
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of that because not many people can pick, you know, the gold standard in everything they're doing about the house. We're definitely not those people. If we're umming and ahhing about whether we wanted to do something, we prioritise things that would be harder to change later on in the future.
What's an example of a trade-off you've made?
We could have gone bigger, but you wouldn't have been afforded like the apex beam or the cathedral ceiling or
all the money we're spending on the landscaping kind of stuff.
Or the tile shower. We could have got 20 more square meters in for that same price, you know, essentially.
It's balancing.
Yeah, so that's a big trade-off. I think another thing is that you have to spend money on septic and stormwater tanks and more drainage, and even the site prep. All of those things chewed up a lot more money than a normal central upper heart flat site.
Especially the septic and stormwater. You know, those things aren't cheap. So
yeah, crazy, for the privilege to go to the toilet.
Excuse the bush.
Yeah.
Keep the Portaloo here.
Yeah, there we go. I'm sure Jen would love that.
Geoff's been giving J&K some tips behind the scenes, and we have tweaked our process, and we've now, like that build prep thing, we've actually got like a final, like it's a 20-page document now.
Oh, nice.
Like designed and printed. We're just doing a photo shoot for it.
Oh, cool.
So it'll be cool to show you that and how that will help guide someone like yourself in the future through that stage. And that's a lot of what Nicole's doing as well. We've put together a spec pack for people, and we give it to them, and then we're like, hey, exciting, you get to go and make these decisions. And we need them by this day, literally, because it's set in stone.
So you can foresee the troughs.
Yeah,
and also knowing the order of that kind of stuff as well, because if we didn't at the start, and I think there were some things that we might have spent a lot of time trying to fix, such as the colour of the interior paint. You know, we spent a lot of time and went down to Rosine and talked about the warmth of this white or that white or whatnot.
And then I was just like, I'll just talk to the painter later.
And even though we've locked in a colour now, it's not really locked in because we can always, that'll be a quick call to change it if we wanted to in the future. We could have spent all that time doing something. The cladding, it's more important than now the cladding before we know the colour of the interior paint, you know?
Yeah, maybe that's it. You got to like work out the bulk of the building, then work out the kind of like the skin of the building, and then we can work out the inside. It kind of, follows that process. It's starting to rain. Let's let you, so perfect time for you to go back to digging your holes.
And I've been delaying it.
And Sam and I will go back to the office.
Sounds great.
We should do the obligatory shake our hands. Good to work for you, Geoff. Soon we'll be having a beer.
Yep, can't wait.
Epic, thanks.
Cool.
Heaps of content.
Yeah.
Nice.